Hello, everyone. This is One Day at a Time podcast. It captures the challenges we face daily and what we learn or not learn from it. My name is Uche Agbai, or Sensei Uche. Welcome.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
Hey. What's up, everybody? Glad to have you join me again on another episode of One Day at a Time. My name is Uche Agbai, your host, of course, of this podcast series. In the media circles, I'm known as Sensei Uche. Yeah. This podcast series captures my journey to beating cancer. Beating and surviving cancer. Now, let me just say this for everyone that has been a part of my journey so far. Everyone that has been listening to previous episodes. I hope you've been finding life lessons. I really hope and pray that you've been finding life lessons from the previous episodes, to help you, in your life and in your endeavors, because that's what this is about. Putting out my journey through beating cancer on one day at a time is what this is all about, okay? Helping you learn, or maybe not learn anything. If you don't learn anything, that's fine, but helping you learn, helping you find nuggets that you can use in your daily life, okay? Thank you for joining me, and let's get into it. On today's episode, I'll be looking at how I stayed away from everything in order to focus on treatment here in Nigeria. Now, the previous episode, of course, was titled My Last Interview. And then after the last interview, like I said in that episode, I had to focus my mind into what was to come. Because my doctor had already said that, Uche, you're supposed to be mentally strong, had tried to talk me into what I would be facing. Dr. Okeje, God bless you. I tried to talk me into what I would be facing and going through when I start taking chemotherapy. And I actually started taking chemotherapy back here in Nigeria first. I did 2 sessions of chemotherapy. Wow. And things were getting worse, so I had to leave. But I'll say more of that in other episodes, okay? So today's episode is titled Out of Sight, because I had to stay away from everything. I had to stay away from my job as an on-air personality on radio. I had to stay away from my job as an MC. Of course, people call me for MCs, weddings, events, general AGMs and all that. So I had to stay away from that. I had to stay away from, everything in general. So job, life, going out, everything ended. So I was just out of sight because all I had to do was focus on treatment. And believe me, that's not something that's easy. So that's what today's episode is about. And if you are ready, join me right now as we get into it in the nitty-gritty. Okay, so I dreaded the day I would start treatment because I was going to stop everything. I was going to stay away from everything. I was going to put every single aspect of my life on hold. Note that I am back then. Let me try and give you a rundown of what my life was. So, get to radio probably about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the day. Work till about 10 p.m. No, 10 p.m. actually, because it was a 5-hour shift. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 9 p.m. 10. 5, 6, 7. I see my calculation say I'm even here like playing with my fingers in the studio. So crazy. So 5-hour shift. And after that, on a Monday, I have nowhere to go. But from Tuesday, and this is something I shit you not. My life is crazy. So on a Tuesday, I could be out for an event. It could be a brand having a campaign and having something at a hotel, or maybe the Balmoral, or, just crazy, like that crazy. And after that, on a Tuesday night, for all of you that don't know, Lagos is awake on a Tuesday night. I am, no darling. There are places you can go that you stay on a Tuesday night. I'm not just talking bars and restaurants, of course. I know a lot of people do that, and lounges. I'm talking all night. So yes, there are places you can party all night on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I'm out all night after work, and then I get back home in the morning, let's say 4 or 5 a.m. And I loved it. To be honest, I loved it. I love being against time, against against the norm. I'm trying to be a rebel or anything, but just being against what everybody was doing. Everybody was doing the not 9 to 5 in Lagos. We do 5 to 9, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. You add traffic to it. So yeah. So I loved it. And I'll wake up probably at about 6 in the morning. Yes, I do wake up early. Wake up, exercise if I can, or just pray and do some things around the house and go back to bed again, just relax. Then wake up fully at about 10 a.m. and I start show prepping, look at what's happening in the world internationally from all perspectives, sports, entertainment, current affairs, and all of that. And that's when I start to put the show together, and then look at what's happening locally, what's trending, what people are talking about. So I'm putting together the show from about 10 a.m. and then I put it together, and 12, I start thinking of how to get out of the house, responding to emails also. Yes, we do respond to emails. We are professionals, Okay. Responding to emails and all of that. So that's my normal life. Wednesday, get to the office, do my thing. Wednesday nights, everywhere in Lagos is ladies' nights. You can go to rumors. Yeah. And then, you're hyping, you're having a great time, party till the next day. And then, back, I say, to wake up, do Thursday nights, we own the night, Thursdays, 57, and you do that. And Friday also, there are events that you have to host. You might even need to go out of state. I might even go out of state for Abuja, Putago, for a party, a brand event and all of that. And you do that, you come back into Lagos on a Saturday, do a wedding reception, play football, all that. So I live a very, very active life, to be honest. It's not like I don't have personal time, no, I don't have time for myself, even though I had to be more deliberate about it recently. But I do live a very active, I enjoy it. So yeah, so that's what it was like. So when I say being out of sight, that's what I mean. In that circle, in that series of living and day, nights, day, I became absent. I became absent, totally absent. Nobody, saying nobody, going out nowhere, and hosting no events. Wow. And it was just really mad. And it had its own effect. So that's giving you an idea of what my life is like. So one of the things that I had to deal with when I had to be out of sight was managing myself daily. Again, the type of person that I don't like putting even with my family, and I shit you not, even with my family, my brothers and sisters, I don't like sharing my, challenges with them, because again, my mentality is everybody's going through stuff. But I needed a caregiver. I needed somebody to be with me daily. I needed somebody to help me with the very, very little things, and it irritated me. The very little things, getting food to eat, taking care of the house, cleaning the apartments, because my body was becoming really, really weak. It was taking a toll on me. Treatment was taking a toll on me. I think after 2 or 3 weeks or so of being off air, I did my first session of chemotherapy, and people had to take care of me. So I've always been so independent from an early age, earning money. I'm talking 17, 18. Around the end, they play music, they play bass, they go out, church to church, concerts, join band. We're playing at this, So I always been very independent and taking care of myself. Left home, safe food. They live on my own. It wasn't like my dad chased me out, but he had a thing that he did that time too. Yeah, so it was really irritating for me, needing someone to be with me 24/7. And guess what? I didn't do that too. I didn't do that. I didn't allow anybody come that close. I didn't allow even my family. Of course, my family came visiting and they'll stay and they'll do a few things. I'll be like, you guys are fine. I can continue. I'm like, are you sure? And I'm sure that really annoyed my sisters. I'm sure it really annoyed them because they'll be like, you're too stubborn. You don't want. But it was really painful for me because I felt like I was transferring all the burden, all the pain, everything I was going to on that person. I didn't think that anybody had the mental capacity to even carry that kind of load. Think about it now. Cancer. To the story person will get cancer. Can't they care for a while, he's or she's going through chemotherapy. And that was the first time there was no history of cancer in my family, which is really strange. And I think about it daily also. No history of cancer, but the thing can't come from my body. Where did it come from? So I didn't want to transfer all that burden, but I did need someone to be with me daily to manage. People offered, I won't lie. I answered some calls and I'll be like, okay, you can come, you can help, and all that. But I always was like, after a period, just let me be, don't take in too much. And also another reason why I didn't want people to come too close is because a lot of people didn't know how to respond. They didn't know how to react. When I mean they didn't know how to react, literally, there were friends of mine and loved ones of mine that when they just saw me, came to my apartment to visit, and I cried and started to cry. As in literally, the tears just started coming down, pouring, and they were, I'm sorry, I'm crying, I'm sorry. And I'll be like, I understand, I know, I don't know, I got a lot of, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, I'm sorry, I'm crying, I'm trying to control my emotions, I'm trying not to be emotional about it, but I did all I could to understand and to accommodate all those emotions because it wasn't easy. So yes, I didn't want that to also mess with my head because it will mess with my own head. I was in the process of trying to heal. I was in the process of trying to deal with all the chemicals from chemotherapy. That alone is enough wahala. So people coming to see me, I know how people are. People coming to see me and crying wasn't something that I wanted. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to deal with it, So yeah, those varying reactions from family, from loved ones, I didn't want that. So yes, it was hard for me having someone care for me daily, show me love, but there were people that were stubborn. Shout out to Neka Edozie, super stubborn, as in Neka no gree. I don't know what's wrong with you, dude. We're gonna make it, So yeah, shout out to that. Oscar too, big shout out to you, man. Totally stubborn. My sister, that one go slap me join. Amarachi, the firstborn. Shout out to her. Thank you so much for dealing with me and dealing with my very, very crazy self at that point. Okay. And one of the things also being out of sight that I experienced is that at this time, I had not, put it out there publicly, but within the people that are told, everybody had a suggestion as regards how to get better or as regards what treatments to take. And to date, I think there are people that are angry with me that I didn't follow some ways because cancer, toxic, your body would go through some. I was even told that if treatment wasn't done well, because of the area which cancer was, my nasal area, I could lose my sight. Actually, I lost my sense of smell. I lost my sense of hearing in one ear. I lost my sense of taste. I couldn't taste anything, So if the treatment was not precise, on where the region is or the cancerous region is, I would lose a lot of things. It was even threatening my brain at some point, So yeah. So everybody had treatment suggestions. Go traditional, do traditional medicine. Somebody was like, do Babalawo. Believe me, Babalawo, it was suggested that it was spiritual because I had just come back from burying my mom. My mom died the year I found out that I had a cancerous tumor in my nose. I didn't know it was cancerous at the time we were burying my mom, but I knew I had a tumor in my nose. And I hadn't told my brothers and sisters then. So we were at the burial and we're doing everything we were doing. They weren't aware. It wasn't until after the burial that I let them know that, okay, guys, this is what I'm going through. This is what's happening. And my sister was like, are you mad? You went through all that. I'm like, I can't. We were all going through so much emotions. We had pain in us. We're dealing with that, losing our mom. There was no way I could put that on the whole family. As in, think about it now. People were just confused. My kid sister was even more confused when I let the information out because she was planning to get married. And because of me, she was like, this wedding is not going to happen until after your treatment. I shit you not, Joy held back her wedding until I came back from treatment. So, Joy and Steve, man, you guys are awesome. You guys are amazing because I really enjoyed the wedding. So like I was saying, so everybody had their own suggestion while I was, out of sight. Somebody was like, go to healing school and, stay there for this amount of time, do this and do that. You definitely, and, because I'm a Christian and I'm a practicing Christian, but it just felt like some people felt my faith wasn't strong enough if I wasn't ready to open up to the option of healing school. But you see, I believe that faith is all about holding on to what you think is, I don't want to even get to Kenny about this, but as at that time, my faith was like, okay, if I do chemotherapy and I do radiotherapy, I know I'm going to be fine. But my faith couldn't carry me through healing school, so to speak. I know that's where you come in and say, okay, but the faith of others and people around you praying with you would help. But you see, if my faith, because I was the one that was in it, if my faith couldn't say, okay, just submit yourself to healing school, don't do any medical treatments and follow that line, follow that path thoroughly, you'll be alright. My faith couldn't carry that. Even with traditional medicine, my faith couldn't carry that. People suggested all sorts. Like, guy, all sorts that I can't even say. When I say traditional ways and Babalawo ways, it was suggested and insisted upon because they felt like I had been attacked from the village after my mom's burial. That's what they felt. They felt that it was an attack on my family, probably, because my dad died 2 years before my mom. My mom died, and then I'm going through that. Like, what's happening? Now, do they want us to come? Maybe they want us to come back to the village every time to bury somebody. And now that we start, the things that we have to go through and deal with tradition in this part of the world is amazing. Yeah, so those suggestions was one of the things I had to deal with also. All sorts of suggestions. And like I said earlier, my faith was that when I go through chemo, radiotherapy, I would be fine. So that's the path I took and I held on to it. And thank God today I'm here. I'm not saying that other means of getting well when you're dealing with cancer, they're not valid. But I strongly believe that it is what the individual, it is what whoever is in it feels strongly about, can hold on to with his or her faith. That's where your healing might probably be. Oof, yeah. Where is Sensei Uche? Those type of questions started popping out, on social spaces or in social spaces. Where is Sensei? How far now? Anybody don't see Sensei? How far? Where is Sensei Uche on holiday? Yeah. Because this is the thing, I didn't say on air, I didn't tell my listeners or the audience that I had to deal with cancer. All I just said, because God bless this listener, there was a day I was on air and I was talking and this listener called in. It was a feedback show, interactive show. And while he was, giving his own opinion as regards the topic we were discussing, he said something. He said, Sensei, I noticed that your voice over so and so period, and this is was a good listener of the show then. I noticed that your voice has changed or is actually sounding funny. And lo and behold, what was happening was because the tumor was growing, it was affecting my tongue, and my tongue was being pushed to the side. As in, literally being pushed and was getting swollen. That's what is wrong. You need to take care of yourself. And sometimes I hear you, just stylishly just sneeze or cough on, so what? And I just played it down on it. I was like, I'm fine. Doctor said I should take it easy, of course, stress while I need to finish, but we continue. So my listeners had started, especially the ones that were very attentive, had started noticing the change in the sound of my voice. I wish I had that sound clip. We would just play it. A sound clip that I played of the video that I sent out when I wanted to make it public. One of the reactions I got most was, oh my God, his voice has changed. Oh my God, why is it sounding like that? Oh my God, this is not the Sensei I know. This is not how Sensei sounds. That was, I got a lot of that. And so my absence was being felt, which is, I guess, a good thing. And I got to know the full effect of my absence when I put out, my appeal publicly for help to help me get to, further the treatment outside the country. A lot of people in the media space was like, hey! I was just seeing their comments and they laugh. Shout out to my boy N6. N6 was like, hey, I knew it since normally I would have seen Sensei here. But yeah, so there was that question going on about, even from my colleagues, of course. Sensei, you're on holiday, but gradually the information started going out and people, started getting to know, people started getting to know about me, not feeling well. Wow. Crazy. Out of sight. The mental part of out of sight, dealing with it. The journey to any recovery, as what I've learned from my own personal experience, is as much mental as it is, medically or physically and all that. The mental toll, your mind has to be in the right place. And my mental health was put to the utmost test during this period. It was hard to focus on getting better. And this is the reason, my mind was that. First, you are confused as to why you are sick. I was so confused as to why I was sick. One, I tried to live a healthy life. I tried to jog, exercise, eat right, and do. I shit you not to. I say yes, my life is very busy and very active, but I try to live as healthy as possible. And it was also one of the feedbacks I got when I put things out. Most of my friends and people that were in my circle was like, if a whole Sensei where they live right, when they do this kind of thing, what me I did do, they fall sick. How far? Like, how does that even happen to someone that is, that gives his all to try to stay fit? So first, I was as confused as to why I was sick. And in the same breath, knowing that I needed massive financial inputs every day, that I needed, if it was almost like I needed an investment, because before you know it, like these millions of naira had gone, and it was no joke. And that was just the beginning part of everything. So mentally, I was juggling that. I was trying to get well. I was trying to focus on getting well. I was trying to focus on where to get the next set of funds. Hey God, where do I get money to continue treatment? Because you can't stop the treatment. You have to keep going. And you know how things are in Nigeria. I saw recently a thread about how expensive it is to fall sick in Nigeria and how medical institutions, some, not all, just focus on taking your money. That without money, there's no service. And unfortunately, you won't even blame them. It's money that sets up that business and put it up at a certain standard, and it will be money that keeps it running. So yeah, how to get money to continue treatment, to make sure that treatment never stops. And staying positive at all the time. So I was, safe to say, going mad. I really was going mad. As at the first time of my chemotherapy session, I had almost depleted. Was it almost, or was it just depleted all my funds, all the money I had going from test, surgery, and all that before chemotherapy? It was just crazy. So that was what I was dealing with inside treatments. So it was really crazy. And all because I couldn't stop. I just had to keep going. Mentally, being out of sight mentally, the mental part of it was crazy. Couldn't deal with it. Or I tried to deal with it, and that's why I'm still here. And it's not easy. It's not easy in any way. Woo! Guys, I think that's the most I can do on this episode. That's the most I can do on this episode. So yes, I was out of sight. I had to deal with all these things. I had to deal with how to, get funds. I had to deal with staying, right mentally. People asking for me, people suggesting treatments, people wanting to enforce treatment regimens or treatments that I didn't like or I didn't think was going to be helpful in my life. But I dealt with all of that, and I am here today. To be honest, this episode I am not expecting. I can't find the words to say, oh, I hope you have picked up something, or want to encourage you when you have been out of sight. This episode is just me telling you what I felt or what I went through, or a few of the things that I went through when I was out of sight, when I wasn't working, when I wasn't living life as usual. Okay? And so far, I hope you've liked it. And I say thank you so much again for keeping up with me on One Day at a Time. My name is Uche Agbai. I said that at the beginning. On social media, you can hit me up if you want to ask me questions or you just want to talk to me or you want to share. It is at Sensei Uche, SENSEIUCHE, across all platforms. Okay, so just hit me up and I'll be delighted to hear from you. Thank you so much. And until next time, keep living one day at a time.